when Barry Allen travels back in time to change the past and returns to find a whole new reality. He must deal with the consequences of his actions. This is the Flashpoint podcast. Sadly, Tyler is not here, but we have some consolation prizes for you, ladies and gentlemen. I am Zachary Hare, and with me always, the Big P, Philip.
Hey, what's up?
So, of course, we will be talking about the episode which is named after Phil's favorite color, Magenta.
That's so weird. It's like her powers have nothing to do with that. Her, you know.
Well, it's you know what's funny? I looked her up. She's another new. They just want. I don't know if I can say pussed that on a podcast, but they used another new Earth person, which is surprising that she didn't die. You know what's funny? When I saw the episode name, I thought I thought it said, which would have made sense for her name. I thought it was Magenta.
Yeah, that's the way it's spelled. But no, like back in the day, like in the comics, she was Wally West's girlfriend for a while. That's why I didn't know if those two were going to get any interaction.
Well, I don't know. Well, how old is that actress?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, probably wouldn't make sense here, but I just didn't know if they would actually give them like lines together or anything.
Actually, that's an interesting idea. I wonder because we're getting powers from the Flashpoint universe. I wonder if we'll get like people who have feelings, you know, the feelings and relations they had in that universe gets transferred over.
Mm-hmm.
That could be an interesting thing to do. So, yes. So, of course, okay. Am I the only one who thinks they're going out of their way to make Julian a jerk?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's his whole purpose this season. And it makes me feel more and more that he's a red herring, that everyone thinks he's Dr. Alchemy. And
or he's a double red herring and he actually is Alchemy. It will obviously have to be one or the other.
Yeah, but I'm thinking they keep pushing that jerk thing more and more, so much so that they want you to believe it's Alchemy. I'm like,
yeah. When we get to the part, there's something like, there's a scene later on that could, either way the argument could go, but when we get to it. Now, they did one thing here that actually, in a way, didn't really make any sense when you think about it, but I like the idea of them exploring, like, even how just a tick 1 second feels to a speedster.
Mm-hmm.
But am I wrong, or they didn't do it right? Because they showed it was like 2 minutes till he had to leave, but they only showed the passage of a couple of seconds.
I don't know. Was it 1 minute or 2 minutes? Because I know.
Well, I mean, because he started his sentence, and then when he finished, it was time to go.
I know, but Julian said, you know, quitting time isn't 7:58. It's not 7:59. So I was like, okay, so is it 7:58 or is it 7:59?
By the way, we've all been in that. We've all had like the person who's not our manager say that, and it's like, and we've all sometimes we have the guts to just flip them off and walk out the door.
Oh, the place I work, you have to wait till the exact minute to punch out.
Yeah, but a place like that, I mean, when you work on payroll, whatever. So we get another. Okay, now I'm hoping because of the events that happened between them in this episode, this is the last awkward date between Barry and Iris.
I don't know. It might get more awkward. I mean, I don't mean to skip ahead to the end, but I mean, he just leaves her in a strange city.
Well, and they weren't really clear where they were. When he's like, I'm going to use my speed. To me, that means, we're going to go to Italy.
Yeah, I don't know. Just from the scenery, I assumed it was like somewhere on the West Coast or something.
But I guess we'll see. I did like when they go back, when they're on the day, go back to see the tear. I don't know why. I really like Cisco's delivery of the line. Like, and you didn't we didn't open it. That's why we called you. It's like, why you didn't close it? If I could, I wouldn't have called you.
No, yeah.
And big shocker, Jesse has speed, and I'm sure we all went.
Well, I mean, it was on the previews and everything, so it's like, okay.
Yeah, but we knew, like, it was from, and Wally's face, he's just like, mother.
Yes, he was very happy. Not.
Oh God, I do like the like it's not an Earth 2 thing. He just started doing that.
I know. It's just, you know, the uncool dad.
Yeah. Although it's interesting. Now he has always been like LL, but I do like seeing him really out of sorts.
Uh huh. Well, you know, first, you know, Jesse yelled at him, and then Caitlin yelled at him. I was like, okay, come on, Iris, you got to yell at him this episode, just so all the women on the show can own him this episode.
No, she can turn into season 1 Iris and have no idea what's going on. So we get the new room, the speed lab, which looks pretty cool.
Which Barry didn't remember.
Yeah, again, no memories. But we learned something. Well, even though we can infer this, it doesn't I'm sure there's a phrase here like that. Or they're acting. They kind of said it without saying that Earth 2 wasn't affected by what Barry did.
Mm-hmm.
But it could just, like we don't know how. I mean, because if Supergirl's gonna do a crossover, it's gonna something's gonna threat the multiverse.
Well, you didn't hear what the threat is for the crossover?
Oh, they announced it?
Yeah.
I missed that announcement. Well, you know me, I hate my spoilers.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be aliens. It's gonna be the Dominators.
See, I'm a Marvel guy, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like these yellow aliens with like huge teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they already said it's aliens.
They're saying they have big, sharp, pointy teeth.
So I'm assuming it's just alien threat. I think they said it's since it's aliens, Barry decides to get a friendly alien, and him and Cisco go get Supergirl.
So I do. So we don't know for sure whether or not we'll find out if it did affect it. So Wells figures out in about 5 seconds that Barry time traveled.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about Barry, it's like, Barry, you have no standing to be like, dude, lay off.
Yeah, I know. Wells is probably just like, thank God he can't affect my timeline.
We see that Magenta is a big, abused child, and it was kind of, I gotta say, I like this actress.
Yeah, she was good.
I mean, she did the duality quite good, and she had this good presence to her, and I did like when she and who doesn't like seeing an abusive dad get thrown? Really, if I was like the cop or the hero in that time, what did she do? Oh, she threw a lamppost at her abusive father. Did anyone innocent get hurt? No, I'm good.
I'm like, did the wall slow that lamppost down? Because I would think if that was traveling quick enough, if a lamppost hit you, you'd probably be dead in most cases.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, you would not be alive. Just not happening. So they flip around a lot. We go back. They flip around a lot this episode because we go back to after they go back to the lab, and this is when Wells is freaking out. I love when he doesn't know what to do. So he's like, "Hey, you and my daughter have always had a special connection." I love how Caitlin just goes, "No, we don't."
Because Caitlin's playing that whole what powers? What would I know about powers? I don't know about powers.
Now there's something. Now of course there's something about that I'm curious about. I mean, does that mean Alchemy like did stuff to her and she just didn't tell anyone, you think? Or
I don't know if maybe the timeline just thanks to Flashpoint that before she didn't have a metagene and now she does. If it's just that simple, or
I really hope there's not even 2 seconds. Well, actually, that could be interesting because obviously her dual personality is what allowed, because the other personality was obviously the other her. Mm-hmm. Which is a really interesting idea when you think about it. I just wonder if he can bring in over. We don't know exactly what Alchemy's doing to them. So I mean, imagine if he brought over the personality from another Earth.
I don't know. Well, that's Magenta's whole deal, is like when she uses her powers, it makes her loopy like that.
Well, we'll see where they go with that. Although and the funny thing about Wells is his feelings are somewhat justified. I mean, that is his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not. I do like when and they've done this. They did a great episode in one of the Justice League Unlimited episodes. They made fun of this. Is how like in the old comics, like the superhero kids would have parents, or they'd be going out in really dangerous situations. Everyone's like, "Well, have fun. Have fun fighting the Nazis, son." And he'd usually have a pipe. Like, all right. And so it makes sense that he's afraid of what's gonna happen, because he's seen some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm really glad it wasn't like it was just the first episode. He was dealing with it, and he's dealt with it. I'm like, good. Done. So let's get back to Julian being a jackass. Now, I had no problem. I actually kind of liked him collecting DNA, because that's smart. But, okay, now this is actually what I was talking about when he realizes that she's one of the, let's call them Huskers.
Mm-hmm.
That he goes down. This is the scene that means he's either Alchemy or he's a red herring. When he goes down and just yells at her, what the heck was that scene?
Oh yeah, that's to confuse you, because I was like, okay, yeah, I felt the same way. If he is Alchemy, yeah, he's pushing her to, run amok, and if he's not, if he's not, it's just another thing to make us think he's Alchemy when he's not.
This is a big problem I have with this is one I have with this episode. I don't know if it just got cut, but this is something it's actually something that bugs me about the TV show CSI. I understand TV shows, especially cop shows, got a suspension of disbelief, but if a CSI did that, he'd be on suspension or something. You know what I mean? There was no fallout for him yelling at a witness. With
Yeah,
no,
I know.
if she, I understand she wouldn't, but if she got a lawyer, he'd be screwed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I know.
It wouldn't matter if she was a meta. I really have a problem that there was no punishment for that. They just let. I mean, I understand we don't know the background because he's been there for a year and da da da. But it's like that's why I'm really hoping they do some kind of like it's kind of like what they. I think wasn't there a storyline in one of the comics when they're trying to figure out different Earths that there was some Earths did just merge, right?
Where?
In DC Comics, like in the 80s and 90s or even late 70s.
I mean, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, they a few of them merged, like Earth 1 and Earth 2 merged.
Right. I keep wondering if they're going to do that, and then that will modify events so they can fix certain things, like Dante comes back, or one thing I really hope happens, because we've talked about this many times, Barry and his memories. It's just the dumbest part. I mean, he got him in Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
And obviously other people, because we see, well, it's actually, yeah, it's weird. Like, Jesse was talking about, they were talking about how they got powers and stuff. And, first it was, did Jesse have the dreams? I don't know why I'm blanking on this.
Yeah, no, Jesse said she did have dreams.
Okay, I'm just wondering, sure. But, so that means someone from Earth 2 had this, it was, because that's how, the rival happened, and that's what happened with Magenta. So, but see, we didn't. Well, again, we don't know how the timeline thing affects Earth 2, and if it does, so that's I don't know if that's on purpose.
Now I'm not sure. I thought she said she had dreams.
Why do I think I'm confusing her with But
because Magenta definitely said she had dreams. Yeah, because I remember it was when Magenta I think said that Wally like picked his head up.
Yeah, I don't know why I confused the two characters.
Yeah, because he was having dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably nothing. But I do like how when Caitlin goes to talk to Jesse, and Jesse's this actress is real. I mean, I liked her before, but I think she's really finding herself in the show.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I loved how she's just like, my dad told you to do this, and she's just like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But how about what I like how later on it's like what did you say to her? And she just goes, the way she looks, the timing was just perfect. She's just like, there's a beat, and she looks over like, me. And I love how she stands up to him. And I'm thinking they're doing this on purpose. Like, Caitlin's sick of being the shy one, so she's just like, you know what? I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised Caitlin just didn't use the excuse with Harry to be like, what? No, me and Jesse don't have a close relationship. Maybe we did in the old timeline, but not in this timeline.
Well, I'm curious. I hope they just get that over with, because they've been hinted. Well, I wonder if what's going on with Wally will tie in them finally getting together. I have this. And maybe that was a factor with the Earth. I'm thinking this. If the Earth merged, I wouldn't be surprised if this season. I just saw that. If the crisis is aliens, I wonder if that's what Alchemy's preparing things for. Because there are villains who will prepare. Like he could be an end justifies the means kind of villain. There's a lot of that can make a really good villain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, because like I said before, he's like Apocalypse from Marvel. Yeah, survival of the fittest, and yeah, all these plans and stuff. Yeah, I had that thought that he was trying to maybe make this defense against the aliens, but then why wouldn't he bring in Barry to help? I don't know. Again,
I wonder if that's going to tie into the red herring that it's Jew. Although that's something I just thought of. Well, we don't know how aware Alchemy is of the Flashpoint, or how he knows, or even what he is. But I'm thinking, if he's that aware, wouldn't that imply that he probably knows Barry's the Flash?
Yeah, and it's like, was he from that timeline? Because he knows pretty specifically who had powers over there. So,
and if he is from that timeline, like, how did he survive? Or was he someone in this timeline? Oh, hey, it'd be interesting if Julian. Like, well, maybe he is Alchemy or something, where it turns out they're never, like, it's some kind of, like, facade. He tricked everyone into remembering someone who never existed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. I was like, is he playing mind games? But,
So Wally almost killing himself. How about that?
No, the minute she started saying that, I was like, oh, he's
I know.
Do something stupid.
I'm just, well, I mean, of course I might be wrong, but I think I'm not. Where they're gonna go with this is Alchemy's gonna tempt him with the powers.
Oh, really? I don't know. I was gonna say, watch, he won't get his speed until like someone's about to die or something.
He might not get a speed, but actually that could be make it a good story. And what I think is going to happen is Alchemy's going to do the whole, I can give you your powers, but you have to kill or do this or whatever, and he's going to be tempted, and he's going to redeem himself at the last minute. And you know what they could do, now that I think of it? They could make it so the redemption, he gets his power, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, maybe Alchemy, here's the thing, maybe Alchemy comes in and he wants to kill Harry and Jess because he doesn't recognize them, because they're Earth 2, and he thinks, I don't know, they're messing up the timeline, so he's going to kill Jesse, and that's when Wally's speed kicks in when he sees Jesse about to die.
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe they're going to make it so Jesse X somehow gives Wally her speed, or so. There's so many different ways they go. So they go, and I really liked this episode. I think is one I liked a lot for this season, because I liked when Magenta brings in the tanker. It's just like, what the heck is Flash going to do? And I knew they were going to resolve it with, most likely her stopping, and this is something that could make it interesting to address because there's certain villains, if you don't have their counterpart, you're screwed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. But yeah, the whole figure 8 thing was, I was like, oh, okay, really? And the minute he couldn't stop, I was like, oh, they need 2 of them. Okay.
Oh yeah, that was really obvious. I don't know why, but it's got to be the actress's presence when she shows up to help. I was smiling.
Oh yeah, she's really good at that part.
Do you think her name's gonna be Jessie Quick?
Maybe. I mean, she could pull it off. Then nobody knows her on this earth, really.
Right. Well, they kind of did, but no, it'd be funny if because I don't know. Well, she probably doesn't have an Earth. I forget if they ever said that they looked, because I mean, obviously it's Earth 1 and 2, so I'm guessing her double would be Harrison Wells' daughter, which he didn't have, obviously. Yeah. But it'd be funny if there is one, and she's like, yeah, what the hell?
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so I mean, this, this kind of scene could so obviously have been like, oh, the power is within you to fight your. I was like, oh, you almost could be like, oh no, but I thought they handled it all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
she's not a villain.
No, that's what I said. I'm like, Barry defeated her without throwing a punch. I said Oliver Queen never could have did that.
Yeah. It would be funny if she just flicks her finger and her foster father's head goes against the door like, whoops, snipped.
Oh.
But I kind of like the moment where Barry and Wells kind of connect over past mistakes.
Although Barry's are a lot bigger.
Well, this particle expel. I mean, it's close with that, but yeah, Barry scooches ahead. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Magenta, because they said she's going to. We don't know who she's going to stay with.
Yeah, that was the part I had problem with. I was like, because she was like, well, what happens if the Magenta personality comes back? And it's
they're just like, suck it up.
Oh no, girl, teenage girl.
We're just a phone call away.
Teenage girl with mental and emotional problems. No, you just go fight it yourself. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Even if they had just thrown a line in there like, oh yeah, we're gonna look for something to help you, not a cure, but just some kind of treatment, I would have been fine with that. But they're just like, no, go off, you'll be fine.
Well, I know Marvel has Doc Samson. Does DC have like a psychiatrist? Well, I know there's Leslie Tompkins in Batman, but did they have any like someone like that? That's Martian Manhunter would be good, but obviously he's not on that Earth.
No.
Or is he?
Oh, that's what I was going to tell you. No, I was listening to you and Charlie on talking about Legends of Tomorrow. That's where I think Rip Hunter is. He's on another Earth. That's why Gideon can't find him.
Well, he's either on another Earth or in the future. That's why but didn't know where he is.
Yeah, but I thought Gideon could scan or whatever the future too. So.
Well, why don't you come on the podcast? This is Flashpoint.
I just listened to the podcast yesterday.
But so yeah, overall, I mean, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with the wall. They started some storylines here. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it. I mean, some stuff they resolved good. I mean, again, Barry and Iris is against the CW, so be surprised. Barry and Iris's relationship is always kind of
Well, they're just. I hope they don't do the stupid thing. They just seem uncomfortable with each other. So I just hope they're not going to say, "Oh, now their relationship won't work because he changed the time."
Well, no, I kind of liked when Barry's like, "Do you think this is a sign?" She just goes, "No."
Yeah.
I'm like, good. Oh, and it ends with them seeing the footage of Alchemy killing Clarice, which is kind of weird because we saw him get strangled, but in the footage it looks like he's just getting blasted with the Philosopher's Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah. Like another miscommunication between the departments of the episodes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you probably didn't see who's coming this week coming up.
No.
A classic rogue.
Well, I think if you mean Cold.
No.
Is it Mirror Master?
Yeah, it's Mirror Master.
Hey, finally. I keep thinking of this line from it's a great episode where the rogues team up to try to fight Flash, and Orion and Batman back them up, and there's a great moment where they're actually talking about how much it costs to be a villain, and I think with Captain Boomerang goes, "What do you care about overhead? You just gotta pull a mirror out."
Yeah, I know you don't like to be spoiled too much, but there was a funny scene in the previews where Cisco's trying to come up with a name, and he's going Mirror, and Harry's behind him. He goes Mirror Master, and then Cisco's like, "Hey, come on, that's my thing."
Well, it's not even that I don't want to watch sometimes I do. It's just you never know when they're going to ruin something. I hate when they do that. You never know when they're going to ruin something really good.
Mm-hmm.
But so overall, I was quite. It really depends on where they go. But overall, I was pleased with the episode. The actress who played Magenta, I wouldn't mind seeing her again. She did a great job. Jesse's really come in her own. I'm a little worried, what they're going to do with Barry and Iris, if the relationship's going to get kind of goofy. If where they're going to go with Wally, and like I said, I think most likely they're going to go with the Alchemy's going to. The biggest thing I hope is just some things get fixed or rewritten by the end of the season, but that's all season discussion. This episode, I was quite pleased, and I think it's it's the better episode of the season so far.
Yeah, it was really good. Except for one or two little things.
Right.
I've been enjoying the season so far. I think it's good. But do you think? I mean, there's problems with the timeline where, Dante's dead now and everything. But do you think this is like a stronger timeline because now instead of just the treadmill, they have a speed lab, and they had those panic buttons. I guess they said they have those.
I forgot to make a note of that. That was a really cool idea.
They have the panic buttons on the phones in case they get kidnapped. And
the thing I'm worried about is they keep changing things every season. It makes it hard for me to get invested because are they going to switch something else around by the end of the season? Because that takes something away. But again, just this episode overall, I liked it, and I'm giving this one a good rating. And that's pretty much most of what I have to say about it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, yeah, it was a really good episode. Overall, I think they've been pretty good so far.
We should start checking episodes we liked and check directors and writers, see if there's a common thread. We need Lilith. She's good at that.
I know. That's what she said, I guess, Arrow. So, the first two, I haven't looked at this one yet, but she said, I know the first two episodes, the same guy was writing them, so.
It seems to be improving, but again, they brought a Batman villain on.
Well, what, Prometheus?
Yeah, he's a Batman villain, isn't he?
Yeah, but they said he's not the comic book version, it's just the name.
Oh my god. Okay, let's not get me on a rant about that. So, do you have anything else to add where can people find you, Phil?
Well, for the podcast, you could get a hold of us. We're on Facebook, either Flashpoint Podcast or Legends of DC Podcast. Twitter is at Flashpoint_SMG and at Legends of DC Pod. The email is always the same, flasharrowpodcast@gmail.com. For me, you can always talk any DC or Marvel with me, nightwingpdp@gmail.com, and on Twitter, I am at nightwingpdp. Zach?
For me, you can always find me on Facebook and on any of the podcasts I do on Southgate Media. Of course, you can find me on Twitter, Some Insanity, and obviously it's going to be over by the time this airs, but I'll be, just as today, the day we're airing this episode, I'll be at Super Mega Fest, the best small town con in Massachusetts, if not New England. But check out the pictures, and if you live in the New England area, don't forget they do 2 cons a year, so it's not that much of a wait till the next one. So check it out. And I think that's it. So I'll take us out. So everyone, I know you're anticipating to already watch next week's episode and listen to the podcast, but don't worry, because we will be back in a flash.